Hello. So, for those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Parag. I am a Linux system administrator, and I have been working on some demonstrations on AWS services. Today we are going to be looking at one very particularly important service in terms of usability and simplicity. This is AWS's certificate manager. Now, this is not a tutorial, it is a demonstration of sorts. So, I will explain how it works, what to do, and how you can set it up. I'll set it up myself so that you can set it up yourself too. Now, the prerequisites of this is that you must have an AWS free tier eligible account and you must have a domain name. Now, the domain name that I have is from one of my yes, this is from one of my this is a company that I okay, sorry about that. Customer login. So this I had a domain that was given to me by by Newfold Digital. This is a domain, you get a domain free if you work on this organization. So thank you so much for kind of sponsoring this video. So we shall be looking at how to use this domain on your AWS website. So on all domain registrars, you will get a name server section. Now usually uh, on this website you will get the name servers that they provide you with. You can use them and use the DNS zone that they offer. This manage DNS section is their DNS zone, so you can use this, or you can set up your own name servers. Now for AWS you need to have a hosted DNS zone. So I will quickly log into the AWS console. Sorry about that. Now, let me just go to Route 53. So Route 53 is basically the DNS provider on AWS. Now I have one hosted zone, but ideally you should not have any. Once you're starting this should be empty. First rules first, you need to buy a domain name. Go to registered domains names. Search for a domain name that you want to register. Let's just say I want to register paragv.com. Check. Unfortunately, paragv.com is unavailable. You can choose something else. Like this looks like very much like paragv. I would suggest going for paragv.link. Is there a link available here? .link. Yes, .link is cheaper. Just check it, and it is available for $5. You just add it to your cart. Blah, 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 and you purchase it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. So these are details that you need to add in. Check the domain, add these details. It's usually a person, so add these details. Once you've put all of this, you will be asked to verify and purchase the domain. It will be in a pending state until you purchase. So once you've purchased the domain, can I cancel this? Yes, let's cancel this. And you look in pending requests, you will see your domain name appear here, and once you've paid for the domain name, the domain will be available to use. Now once you've paid for a domain name, purchased it, it will automatically show up in your hosted zone. But if you do not have a domain name already present, so in that case you will have to add the domain name, like create hosted zone, add the domain name that you want. Let's say I want to add parag1.com. We already have paragv.com. That's what I did for it. But for this, you just select public hosted zone. Do not add any tags. Create a hosted zone. Wait for a few seconds, and it will be created. Now you need to add these NS records. So these are the NS records that they provide you with. Now these records are the ones that you add on your domain provider. So these are the name. This is the name server section, and I've added the 4 records that were given. It's mandatory that you add minimum 2 number of name server records, and maximum you can add as many as you want. Usually you add 4. just for redundancy sake. So this is for parag1.com, but I already have a DNS zone, so I will just not care about this. I will go home to the hosted zones, and I see that I have to parag1.com, paragv.com. I've already created paragv.com, and this paragv.com has the name servers that are propagated. To check if the name servers are propagated, just go to DNS lookup. You can go to watchmydns.net/DNS lookup, search for paragv.com, search for them. Okay, and now change this to what can we change this to? Let's change this to SOA record. So SOA record is the one that checks if it's propagated. You will see it's 1147 AWS DNS. Just click on paragv.com and check what the SOA record is. Just a second. This is what the SOA record is. So it's pretty much the same. It is exactly the same. So your record has propagated and your domain is live. So I'll just quickly delete the paragv1.com. This is not necessary for us. I will delete it. Once this is up and running, you are done with your DNS setup. Your domain is ready to use. But there is a lot of load balancing and other things that I will probably demonstrate in another video. But for now, let's host a domain with SSL on it. Now there is a rather wonderful feature by AWS that it allows you to put the SSL certificate that it gives you and host it on your domain name without you having to download the public key, private key, CSR. You don't have to do anything of that sort. You just need to say that, okay, I need an SSL certificate, and it will attach it to your required actually load balancer. AWS will never attach your SSL certificate to an AWS instance because that's not how it works. It's maybe they will create an option to do that in the future, but for now that is not something they have. So let's just quickly see how we can do that. I will demonstrate one very simple task. So first of all, you do need an AWS instance because you do need to host your website on something, right? So I will just get rid of all of this. Yeah, so we have your domain name ready. Let's duplicate this tab and let's go to EC2. Now you need to create an instance and you need to allow HTTP traffic on it. So I will go to instance. I will log in an instance. Let's call this VM0 because VM0 is the one where you need to host your website. Let's keep the image as the same thing, T2 micro, because it will just be accessed. Let's give this SKP, although it's not necessary. You can give it anything you want. Let's allow HTTP traffic on this. Create a new group. Yes. Launch wizard 2, is that what you call it? Nah. Can we change it to something else? No, we can't. Let's ignore that for a second. Let's allow HTTP traffic. Do we need to do anything else? No. Actually, we need to put user data. User data that I always have in handy is something of the sort. This user data, although I may not have explained it, it's basically something that runs as soon as your server is configured. So first it will add shebang. That means it's a script. It will run. It will get sudo access. Once sudo access is granted, it will install the HTTPD service, which basically turns your local machine into a server with a host and a client and everything of that sort. It will add some code that is necessary. This is the file that runs when the HTTPD server is activated. And once this is enabled, it will run anytime the server is started again. So that is what we do, and we launch the instance. It will launch in 5 seconds at the maximum max. So this has launched. It will take some more time to get from the pending state to a running state. You just need the IP address. This is the IP address, right? Let's copy and paste it on another browser, on a browser tab, and it's not up here. It will take some more time. It usually takes a few minutes to load the server and then run the script that we have given it. So it's not going to get up and running very soon, but it will get up and running sooner. You just check if all the rules that I've set are correct, because I may not have set any correct rules. Security, inbound rules. We have traffic allowed from HTTP as well, so should work. Let's refresh it one last time, and it is running. So right now it is running on an IP address, which is not something cool. We need to make it secure. A thing to notice, if you haven't done this before, that you need to install an SSL certificate on a domain name always, which is why we've purchased a domain name and we are running it on AWS. Now, AWS gives some very fancy features in terms of load balancing. I will explain them in some other demonstration, but right now, let's just quickly make sure we have an SSL certificate, and then we can put it on the load balancer. So first of all, we need the SSL certificate. So I'll just look for certificate manager. This is ACM, also known as AWS Certificate Manager. We request a certificate. Now, requesting a certificate is very easy. You request a public certificate so everybody on the internet can check the domain. A fully qualified domain name. We need it on paragvi.com because that is the domain that we hosted. But why get a normal domain name and you can get a wildcard domain name? Now, there might be other subdomains that you need to host on this SSL, or just this one. So I would suggest going with star dot whatever your domain name is. So it will help you put an SSL not only on the normal domain name, which is, for in my case, paragvi.com, but also on www.paragvi.com or app.parag.com or in.parag.com, anything. You need help.parag.com, support.parag.com. It will work on everything. So select this, select a wildcard certificate. You can add another name. So if you need only for paragvi.com and www.paragvi.com, you can add these two names and it would work just fine on the both of them. So it's not a big deal. So the validation method is very simple. It's just basically asking you to validate that you own the domain. That is what SSL does, right? It confirms that you own this certificate and you are saying that it is secure. So you need to select either of these. Email validation will send you an email and it might take some time. There might be email issues. So we'll select DNS validation. That is what they recommend, and that is what we will do. You request a certificate and it will take some time. You refresh it. Yes, it is pending validation. Now, pending validation, although very scary, it is very easy to set up. You just click on this. It will give you a CNAME record. See, this is the CNAME record that it has given you. Now, you don't need to, in most cases, if I had hosted the domain on the previous DNS zone, which I had gotten when I had been given the domain name by my previous org, the one sponsoring this video. So if you get that, it is easier. You have to copy and paste the record there and it would work. But with S3, with route 53, it is much easier, because you just need to select create the record for me, and you click on create records and you wait, and we will create the records for you. Now I will, for your understanding, I will just refresh this. This is where my domain name is hosted, right? I will click on paragvi.com and I will just wait. And you see here, the CNAME record has already been propagated. So CNAME record has been added by AWS itself, which is, in my eyes, that is a very good thing. Yeah, little automation, but it goes a long way, right? You just click two buttons and your CNAME is ready. I'll just go to certificates. I'll refresh, hoping that the validation is ready. It's not. It will take some time, and yes, see, it is issued. The certificate is issued. You need not do anything. Your certificate has been issued. Now, this cannot be downloaded and used as other certificates can be, because this will work on AWS itself. AWS offers it to you for free. So why do you think you should use it somewhere else? It's like cheating them, right? So don't do that. Keep it as it is. Okay. Now we have the certificate. We have created the local machine. Now we have the IP domain name as well. Now we have to attach this. Somehow we need to attach it. Now, once this is issued, the only downside is that you cannot download this certificate and use it randomly. That's why you cannot put it on your EC2 instance. So to overcome that, we will have to create a load balancer. Now, as I've demonstrated in some of my earlier videos, that we have to create a load balancer and then a target group, and then you put your local machine on there. So let's get to it. Let's just go to instances. So one of our instances obviously running. Let's go to target groups. Let's create a target group. Let's create a target group. Yes, it will be an instance that will be running on this. Let's call this pg0. It will have HTTP traffic. Now, it might be difficult to comprehend, but I will explain to you in very simple hand gestures. This is the EC2 instance. This is the target group. This is a load balancer, and here will be the internet. So the internet comes to the load balancer. The load balancer accepts the traffic. It sends it to a target group. The target group will now send it to an EC2 instance. But this EC2 instance will need not have HTTPS traffic flowing to it. You could simply have this internet group have HTTPS redirected to here. So it needs HTTPS. The certificate SSL connection needs to be from the internet to the application load balancer itself. Okay. Once this connection is created, the traffic coming from this point onwards will be HTTPS. So you don't need HTTPS inside this. You don't need HTTPS traffic coming to the target group or HTTPS traffic going from the target group to the EC2 instance. So you don't need to attach an SSL on the target group. So the port that SSL listens to is 43. For those of you all who don't know, and those of you know, congrats. But the traffic that comes on SSL on the load balancer should be for 43. For 443 on the load balancer should be 443, and on the target group it should be 80. So that's why this port here is 80, and it's accepting traffic that is HTTP, not HTTPS. You can select any VPC. I'll use the default one. Do we need to do anything else? No. You just click on next. We need to select the instance that will go on this. You need to select this. It's 80. You don't need to do much. You just select this and include as pending below. This will get added to the target, and you click on create target group. Just wait, and it will be created. This is done. Just click on this, and you will see the target group is its total target healthy 0 unused. It's unused right now because we haven't attached this anywhere. Now we need to create a load balancer, right? Target group is created. Let's go to load balancer. Let's create a load balancer really quickly. We need to create an application load balancer that brings in HTTPS traffic directly. So this is where we will have to create HTTPS traffic. Let's call this ALB0. Let's give this internet facing IPv4. Let's select the VP. Let's let it be as it is. Let's select all these three. We need as much redundancy on the network as possible. So we'll select all three of this. Okay. We need to give this. This needs to have HTTPS traffic. Now I have already created one, but to show you all what is and how it is, I will just have to create a new one just in case. Okay, let's call this HTTPS1, right? HTTPS1 security group. Description allows HTTPS traffic from anywhere. One. Let's call this the VPC. Let's let it be as it is. Now the thing is, we need to add some inbound rules so that HTTPS traffic only is allowed. There is only HTTPS traffic that is allowed to this application load balancer. We need to add only one rule. The rule is, oh my god, where is HTTPS? Here. Port range, anywhere IPv4, and that is it. You need to add this. Once you've created this, your HTTPS is ready. That is what you will be creating, right? This is the load balancer. We had opened this in a new tab. I'll just refresh it once, and I will see HTTPS1 is here, right? I'll remove this, and for our understanding, let's use this. Okay, this is what we had created. Okay, now we have listening and routers. This is important. Protocol, it listens on HTTPS 443. This is what the application load balancer will do. Please don't put it on HTTP. That would be disastrous. The page will not load on me. There will be no scenario in which that page loads. You select this. You ignore this security policy. This is recommended, and it will use that for the. Okay, from ACM you select the certificate. This is the certificate that I had recently created, and it is active. So I will create that. I will select it, and what else? Nothing else. This is it. Just wait, and you create the record. Create the load balancer. The load balancer has been created. It will take some time, obviously, because it's a load balancer. It's gonna take some time. It is provisioning. It will come active soon. It does take 2 or 3 minutes, so it's not a big deal. just have to wait for it. This is the DNS name. This is the DNS name that the IP, the application load balancer has. So once you go to this application load balancer's IP address, it will not IP address, DNS name for the application load balancer, it will load the website. But we will not go to the application load names balancer, right? Application load balancer's DNS name. We will go to our domain name, which is paragvi.com or whatever we want it to be. Okay. What I will do is I will go back to my hosted zone. I will refresh this and I will sneakily create a CNAME record. A CNAME record is something that allows you, it's a canonical name. A canonical name is basically an alias. So if I want to go to let's say if I want to go to Mr. Suraj's house, but Mr. Suraj is a sarpanch of his village. So when people ask me, okay, how do I find Suraj's house? They will obviously point to Suraj's house. But if I ask them, where can I visit the sarpanch's house? He will redirect in his mind. Okay, he wants to go to Suraj's house, and then he will tell me Suraj's name. So I will add a CNAME record really quickly. I'll call this the address that we want to go to is this, right? This is the address we want to go to. But we want paragvi.com to go to? No, I don't want the primary domain name to go to. I'll just put www.paragvi.com to go to this place. And the record is a CNAME record, right? Just create this. Let me just check if the load balancer has been created. It is active. It is active. So we have created the CNAME record. We just wait. Just wait. Do you want to change the routing policy? I can explain this, but we should better do this in our next demonstration. So let me just create this. It has been created and it should propagate. Now, the moment of truth. This is active. This won't go away. The domain is active on this. Now I'll go to www.paragvi.com and I'll hit enter. See, the domain is active. The SSL is secure. It is showing this valid certificate. Paragvi.com, organization something. It's given by Amazon, and we are done. That's the demonstration. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have not, I'm so sorry about that. If you have, well and good. If you're practicing this demonstration with me, I would suggest deleting your target group, deleting your load balancer, deleting your EC2 instance. You need not delete the CNAME record and the A record. It's okay to visit this. I will keep my website up for a while because well, you can try it out, right? Just check how it goes. Or I'll delete it. I think I will delete it. I do not have as much money as I think I would. As much as I would like. So I will not waste money on this. It might cost me more than I expect. So this is running. The AWS certificate is active and our demonstration is complete. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you all have a great day. Good night.